Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good morning, students. Good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Yeah,
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Can you hear me, beta?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
yes, ma'am.
fine. Okay, fine. So in the last class, I taught you the open window. It is like one tragedy. Something has happened with the aunt itself. So she was waiting for her husband and her brothers, and so that they will be coming from the window. So, so in the last class, I have told you that Mr. Aunt will be down. I said, please mute yourself or else I'm going to mute all. Okay, I have muted. So in the last class, I have taught you what Mr. Aunt will be down presently. Mr. Nuttall said a very self-possessed young lady of 15. So what is the meaning of here itself? A 15 years young lady, she was telling that her aunt will be coming down. Till that, you just tell something about you. So she started anxiously. So she started asking the question that, do you know here itself? So he told, my sister knows well better than me. Okay, fine. This much I have taught you in the last class itself. Now, and you know that young lady, her name is Veera. Okay, so she is very frequent and she is very clever, intelligent girl. She talks. Her talks are very interesting. So so here Frampton. So when that young lady, she asked, do you know anyone here itself? So Mr. Frampton told, my sister knows very well than me. Okay. And he also told that my sister has given me some letters also. So in that, the people's introduction, it is there. Okay. So he made the last statement in a tone of distinct regret. Then you know practically nothing about my aunt. So after listening all this, that young lady Veera, she said to Mr. Frampton that that means you don't know my aunt also. So in a possessed way, she has told only her name and address admitted the caller. He was wondering whether Mrs. Stapleton was in married or widowed state. Yeah, and undefinable something about the room seemed to suggest masculine habituation. Her great tragedy happened just 3 years back. So this young lady, this Vera, she started explaining what has happened 3 years ago. Okay, so the tragedy here, Mr. Frampton asked what kind of tragedy had happened with her itself. Somehow in this restful country, sport tragedy seemed out of place. You may wonder why we keep that window wide open on an October afternoon. Okay, so here in the month of stillness also we keep this window open till late night itself so that our family members who have went for the hunting itself they'll be coming. That's the reason my aunt is very conscious that they are going to come. Okay, so this much have you understood? This much have you understood, Veda? Okay,
Yes,
so she was
ma'am.
explaining.
Yes, ma'am.
That young girl, she was explaining to him that why these people have opened that window itself in this cold monsoon also. October month, you know, people, how chill it is, but even then the window is open. So you can understand that this topic is about the window, open window. So somehow related. So you may wonder why we keep that window wide open on an October afternoon, said the name, indicating a large French window that opened onto a lawn itself. So it's a very big and large. So even then they have opened so that they are thinking that in some day or one fortunate day, they'll be coming back itself. So this girl, she was explaining to Mr. Frampton itself. So this is what the story, even yesterday also I have told to you. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, out through that window 3 years ago to a day. That means she is explaining here what has happened and why they have opened the window. That explanation I'll be teaching you today itself. Okay. So out through that window 3 years ago to a day, her husband and her two young brothers went off for their day shooting. That's what she is telling. They never came back. In crossing the moor to their favorite shooting ground, they were all three engulfed in a trackless piece of bog. It was safe in other years gave way suddenly without warning. Their bodies were never recovered. That was the dreadful part of it. So that's what she is telling, that here itself, these two brothers and her husband went for the hunting itself, and that too. More means what here? More is a grassland, okay? So they went for hunting the bird, but due to some tragedy, due to some circumstances, they were not able to return, and their bodies is also not found. That's what here they are explaining. This girl is explaining to Mr. Frampton itself. Or you all understand?
Ma'am, your voice is not coming clearly.
Beta, there are some network issues, but let me repeat once again. I have told you what, just now I have told you that these people, they went for shooting. Here, shooting is nothing but hunting itself, okay? To get a bird itself. Who has gone for the hunting itself here? Her husband is Mrs. Stapleton's husband, and in the same way, two brothers, okay? They have gone, but due to some circumstances, tragedies, what they are mentioned here itself, due to that, they haven't returned. Clear? Am I clear to everyone, beta?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
okay.
ma'am.
That's what she is explaining. Their bodies were never recovered. They haven't found their bodies also. That was the dreadful part of it. So it is a very painful part of it that this girl is explaining to Mrs. Frampton. Here the child's voice lost its self-possessed note and became falteringly human. Poor aunt always thinks that they will come back someday. So here the girl, she is explaining to him, Mr. Frampton itself, that my aunt is always conscious that someday or one day they'll be coming back itself. But she doesn't know that we have lost them forever. That's what she is telling, telling the situation, the incident, it in a story to Mr. Frampton here. Okay. They and the little brown spaniel that was lost with them and walk in it that window just as they used to do. This is why the window is kept. Somehow they have walked from the window onwards. That's the reason they are thinking that her aunt is thinking that someday those people they'll be coming from that window onwards. So this is why the window is kept open every evening till it is quite dusk. Poor dear aunt, she has often told me how they went out. So every time she keeps telling her to this Vera itself that how they have gone and how they are going to return. She has a great faith on them that one day they will be coming back. Okay. Her husband with his white waterproof coat over his arm and Ronnie her youngest brother singing Barry. Okay, Betty. Here they have mentioned she has mentioned the name. Her husband name is with his white, okay, her husband is wearing a white waterproof coat over his arm, and Ronnie, her youngest brother. So here, her Mr. Stapleton's youngest brother is Ronnie, and then, okay, elder brother is Ronnie. Her youngest brother singing Betty, why do you bound? As he always did to tease her, means they always make us mesmerize here itself. So her Mrs. Stapleton, because she said it got on her nervous. Do you know, sometimes on still quiet evenings like this, I almost get a creepy feeling that they will all walk in through that window itself. So she always, even this girl also very conscious, and she always creepy feeling. She has a little creepy feeling here itself that they will all walk in through that window itself. It means she's telling here itself. Mrs. Stapleton is telling they always keep walking from this window. So she is very curious that one day they are going to come back. Let's see here. So Mrs. Stapleton comes down at last. Okay, in the part two, she comes down and inadvertently confirms her niece story. Okay, here her niece, Mrs. Stapleton's niece name is Vera. Okay. Frampton tries to acquaint his host with the nature of his ailment through the open window. He can see. So here we have discussed that Mr. Frampton is very nervous, and by listening to the story, in the meanwhile, Mrs. Stapleton comes down, and she also started telling the same situation what here Vera has told just now. Okay. See, let what she has told here. She broke off with a little shudder. It was a relief to Frampton when the aunt bustled into the room with a word of apologies for being late in making her appearance. I hope Vera has been amusing you, she said. So that's what she is telling, that I was just little bit brushing myself itself, and I'm very, very sorry. Apology. She is apologizing there itself. I'm sorry that I'm late. I was not able to come, but here I hope that Veera is entertaining you. That means she's a very interesting girl, and she's giving company to you. That's what here Mrs. Stapleton is telling to Mr. Frampton. Okay. Now here see what she has told. She has been very interesting, said Frampton. That after listening Mrs. Stapleton's words, here, Mr. Frampton told she is very, very interesting, as she is giving as she is very clever girl. Okay. I hope you don't mind the open window, said Mrs. Stapleton briskly. Okay, again, the same thing, because it is the month of the October, and here in the October month, we know that we feel chill. Okay. So due to that, here Mrs. Stapleton is telling her, I hope you won't be feeling, I hope you won't be minding anything if the window is open. Okay, in a briskly manner, she has told. Okay, in a casual manner. My husband and brothers will be home directly from shooting. Okay, same thing she is telling, that my husband and brothers will be home directly from hunting, and they always come in this way. That's what she is telling. They always come from this way only, as they have gone. They have been out for this night in the marshes today, so they'll all make a fine mess over my smooth carpet. Like you, men falls, isn't it? She rattled on cheerfully about the shooting and the scarcity of birds and the prospects for ducks in the winter. To Frampton, it was purely horrible. Obviously, after listening that so many years back, these people have gone for the shooting itself, and we know that Mr. Frampton had a nervousness, and to clear that nervousness, he has come here itself. But after listening the story, he became again nervous. Okay. So he was just thinking in his mind how horrible, how this lady is telling that. He was just assuming that some soul, spiritual will be entering. Due to that, he was feeling nervous also in his mindset itself. But okay, fine. Today I have taught you till here itself. So please read once again. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, fine. So tomorrow, because
Okay,
Okay, tomorrow I'll be explaining you the part 2 very clearly. Fine? Do this question and answer.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. I hope you have
Yes,
understood the
ma'am.
class.
Yes,
I, yeah, I hope you have understood the
Yes,
class.
ma'am.
Thank you so much for listening to me. Fine. Bye, everyone.
Bye, ma'am.
Ma'am.
Bye,
Ma'am.
Thank
you, ma'am.
You're welcome.
Bye, ma'am.
Bye.
Ma'am.